Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the world of Zodiac GT3 Championship Round 7. And this time we're going around Oulton Park. And as you can see, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, the excitement is in the air. Well, that's how it was looking till a little bit earlier, where we suddenly had a downpour come in and we're expecting a very, very wet day's racing right here at the Zodiac GT3 Championship. That being said, a person that is very familiar with this circuit, both getting, well, off circuit or hanging it all together, or unfortunately having TCRs, having a bit of bad braking, we've got Cameron DeBastos joining me in the commentary box. Cameron, welcome back to Oulton Park.
Good evening, Stephen, and good evening, everybody. Yeah, I've got some very good and some fond and not so fond memories regarding this track, both in the GT4, well, GT3s, TC and TCRs, and a little bit of the GT4s there, but I think the most prominent one that Stephen knows me for is binning from second place in a Lamborghini Huracan GT3 around a very wet Oulton by completely missing the third turn. But no, it's great to be back, Stephen. I'm loving to be back. Yeah, I took a bit of time off there, and now I'm back in full force, ready for some action.
Yeah, and also prepping for the Nordschleife 24-hour as well. So getting to see what some of the competition is running out, as we will see some of these drivers actually competing in iRacing for that one. But let's talk about what we're going to see here tonight, because it's going to be some tremendous racing where our drivers are going to have to push the limits of what they can do. And let's bring in some of the sound as we can hear the roaring engines screaming their way around. A couple of drivers finding it difficult for qualifying to get themselves onto pace at the moment. But with wet racing like this, what's the fundamental factors that the drivers are going to be aware of, especially right down to the last remaining race? I mean, this is the second last race of the championship. The last thing you want to do is land up binning your championship because of, well, a difficult run.
Well, Stephen, it's always going to be caution. With weather being like this as it is now, you don't want to take unnecessary risks. Drivers, I spent some time with them during the week as we were busy practicing for this event, and they found that the grass is quite slippery in England, and I can tell them why, because the sun never shines, meaning that this grass never really dries out. So that will lead to the car slipping. If you dip a wheel onto that grass, you will absolutely have no grip, meaning you will go while locking the brakes and slipping and spinning off into the distance. Now, the next thing we also have to take care of is traction control. You don't want to have too much to kill your drive, but you also don't want to have too little, meaning that you're going to go and, unfortunately, again, just spin up your tires, destroying those wet weather tires, meaning your race will get quite significantly damaged, one can say. Other than that, brake bars. You don't want it too far forward. Your front tires will lock, no steering, aquaplaning, and again, your race will be over because you're either going to end up in the wall or be going to take out an opponent. It's all about a give and take. It's a balancing act when going on the run. You do not want to go on the dry line, because that will, or the optimum line, because that track or part has been rubbing quite significantly, meaning that you will unfortunately lose some grip every now and then. But no, tonight, Oulton, great racing circuit, very narrow, very windy, very flowing. You just have to be very cautious in terms of what you want to do with your car.
Well, taking a look at our pro-ams as they're currently out on track, we've got a couple of drivers making their way through, but one to keep an eye out for is going to be Gerry van Zyl, who I'm trying to see if he's gone out for a lap as yet, but I don't actually see him on our list, so I don't think Gerry van Zyl has made it, so he will lose a couple of points in the championship. David Robertson, though, has made it to the circuit, currently the fastest, 146.2 in the Aston Martin. So he's looking to score some valuable points and head off to the top end of the championship. Jackie Alberts is the next chap to keep an eye on. Jackie hoping to land up at the top of the pile, currently third with 173 points. And with David on 181 points, Gerry van Zyl on 203. So Jackie also has an opportunity here, gain some valuable points for the championship and move his way up through the order. Tian Tiron currently lying in 4th place, and Mordred Claessen's unfortunately out. He is in 5th. followed by Lawrence Brodenhurst, then Lucan Haynes, Francois Buerta, Jaco Grobler, who was running in 8th place, who was racing last night in a F4, and don't see him racing here this evening. Then we've got Matthew Carter in 9th, 10th place is also going to Francois Haynes. So championship still on the cards. A bit of a smaller field for our Pro-Ams, but an opportunity for them to at least score some top running levels at this point. Get some points in and walk away with it. A couple of new drivers coming into play, like Hilton Nixon for the Safari Nation Racing, returning to the world of ACC and battling it out in the BMW, trying to find some grip there. But at the moment, Ian Rootman and Dunn are not out on track as yet. Dunn's out on track, trying to get it all sorted out. Rootman is still in the pits. Loeb is currently out on track, and Francois Heinz is out on track. So some drivers out, some drivers not. Other drivers hoping that maybe starting from the back end of the field is going to be the best one. Stradler, though, Henru is out at the top of the charts, putting in a 1:44.7. So absolutely going and flying, putting in his best lap time, 2 seconds quicker than second place is David Robertson with a 1:46.2. Lawrence Bodenhurst is a 1:46.3. I mean, looking at the lap times, Honro is really standing on the gas at the moment and seems to be well connected with the circuit, more happy with the conditions than the rest of the field. He's pushing out, going 1.5, 2 seconds of a gap distance away from second place. And I think that will be running in where our pros will.
Yeah, Andrew really putting in a fantastic lap there, ready to actually bring it to the top guys there. But as you mentioned before, some of the drivers being able to jump spots due to others not making it tonight. I do know Mondre Klaassen unfortunately had to withdraw from the championship, I believe was the message that I got from him earlier. And Gerry van Zyl also unfortunately not able to see the rest of the season through. But no, there's still a lot of other cars out here to take the fight there. And now, but even though it's 2 rounds left, with these drivers falling out, that means that the field opens up again. We've seen in our pro splits with their leader, the defending championship, unfortunately withdrawing there, and now it's a new champion being crowned. I think the same is going to happen in the pro class. Am I correct, Stephen?
Yeah, we did have our pro, unfortunately, due to an operation, was our defending champion, and he's just recovering well. Fortunately, out of racing for a bit, but is watching from the virtual grandstands, much like everyone here at the World of ZRC. But I got to point out, though, some of the liveries that are out on track at the moment, absolutely stunning. Like Liam Swanbourne's livery at the moment, just the amount of detail that's gone into it is very, very interesting as he gets a little bit side on, parks it in the dirt just for us. But I will say a couple of these drivers are not 100% used to the cars that they're currently in, because I can guarantee that everyone has been playing around with the new Mustang GT3 that's been released, which also is slippery, it's slidey, and on a wet track, not a fantastic car. So we'll have to also keep an eye on that run as well. So Matthew Carter making his way through. Our pros will be heading out in the short while, so our Pro-Ams putting in their last lap times. Rittman serving a quali ban, we being informed, so he is going to start way down in the field, going to have to punch his way through. Not an easy thing, and I've got to point out though, is it a bad thing to start at the back of the field in these conditions? Because I would actually prefer to get a lap time in and be able to get going. Even if it's a slow lap, it's just to know what the track feels like.
Well, Stephen, it's difficult to say. We all know that the spray in ACC, if you start behind somebody, is quite rough. So there's that you have to contend with. Now, this also brings in a little thing of a discussion of bonnet cam versus in-car. I know some cars guys love to drive inside the car, meaning that they're gonna get bothered by the spray. And the bonnet cam will not be affected by that, as they do not have a windscreen wiper that needs to get cleaned every now and then. But no, so it's a difficult question. You want to start from the back, or do you want to start in the middle of the pack? Preferably, I would say you want to start directly in the front. That's where it's the best, I would rather say.
I think the back is actually a tricky one, because as the whole field concertina's up on it, you suddenly landing up with getting into the back of a concertina, you're braking a lot harder, or you're trying to maneuver your way around. I'd prefer to just try and keep the momentum going as we see our Pro-Ams pulling in. Shather at the top of the charts, David Robertson in second place, Jackie Alberts will be finishing up the third, Lucan Haynes in fourth, Tian Teran in fifth, sixth, Lawrence Braunhurst, Leon Sonburn, Hilton Nixon will be in eighth, unless Francois Haynes will be able to put it in a lap time. He is currently running, and our pros will be out on circuit. So let's see if he will be able to get it sorted out. Heinz comes across the line. The RSZA New Francos comes across the line. Only 9th place. Matthew Carter in 10th. Dunn in 11th. And Barry Loeb currently in 12th. As our pros make their way around the track. So, for our pros, let's take a look at our standings, because we've got a bit of a change up there as well. Daniel Rowe, I don't see on our list. So, I don't think Daniel Rowe is here this evening racing. So, unfortunately, that means he's going to lose a couple of points. Johan Krobler will be going and looking to put his way to the top of the charts. He's currently in 19th position, but is second in the championship, and looking to pole vault himself above his teammates. It's going to be a bit of a close one, though. He's on 172 points. His teammate Daniel Rowe first on 250. Daniel de Villiers is also looking to do well this evening. We had a chat to him a little bit earlier on 160 points, saying that he's really looking forward to taking this car out. This time, the livery is a bit more tame than what it was last week, looking less urban camo-like and more into the usual PWSR monster as he charges around. You can just hear the Nissan turbocharged engine giving it absolute horns. Third place is Daniel de Villiers. Then fourth place is Chris Stolz, who is out on circuit on 148 points, only 2 points ahead of Johan Kleinans. And Johan Kleinans is looking to put in a great banker time, as he's got Hannes Kraling to deal with. And Hannes is tying up in points, 146. So we got a tie in points there. Johan van der Merwe 2 points behind them on 144. So still close running within the championship for both our pros and pro-ams. Michael Schultz comes around, puts himself into first place. A 143.0 was his 143.1 was his best lap time. Chris Stolz comes across, beats him 143.005. Daniel de Villiers into third, Viertier Buerta into fourth, Johan van der Merwe into fifth, Donaldson into sixth place. Tank slapper on the way through out of turn one, and that is definitely not what you want to be having. You and I both had that a little bit earlier with our TCR cars when we tried our luck. Yeah, we tried going out with TCRs in these conditions. Didn't quite work out as planned. Can only imagine with the GT3s how difficult the drivers are finding these conditions, these monsoon conditions, and there is rivers across this track.
Yeah, that's a beauty or annoyance of the British tracks. With the track getting all of these slicks and almost streams, as you mentioned, the track never really gets rubbered in, and there's always the oil. And if it does get rubbered in on a weird, strange day where the sun shines in the UK, then all of that oil and everything gets pulled up directly again, and it just doesn't have a proper grip level. It's always slippery. It's that oil that just makes it difficult. So even it's a bit of a dance, one would say, a dance with the car around the track, where the track wants to kill you and the car wants to kill you. It provides a lot of entertainment, I would say, from the commentary box. Not when you're driving it, though.
It's like the Russian ballet. It's poetic. It's great. It's definitely one that you want to keep an eye on, but it is rough. It is straight to the point. It will test your mental fortitude and physical fortitude to ensure that precise movement is needed and not a single millimeter needs to be out. Otherwise, you face the wrath of failure coming down on you. But with that being said, take a look at Stadler. His lap time still hanging there in 11th position ahead of Kylian Reina. And also Conrad Martin. So we do have a Pro-Am, Anton Lamaso, down in 20th position. So he's way out of his usual fight. But the lap times are only getting quicker for Stoles. He's 0.4 up on his last lap time. The Delta Negative is really hanging on, doing absolutely everything he can to carry the momentum, jumping over the curbs, bottoming the car out, and really throwing it in. SES Days in second place, gets ahead of Michael Schultz as he's looking to go and blast around. Gotta ask, what is better around the circuit? Mid-engine with lots of rotation, a mid-engine that's got a little bit of understeer to it like the Ferrari, or will it be your front engines, the Nissans, the BMWs, and the Mercs that will be able to charge it up to the top?
Well, having driven the rear engine or mid-engine Lambo around here, it does feel better compared to for the likes of a front engine TCR. It just feels like the car wants to do what you want it to do on the tracks, also in the rain. The front engine, there's that extra weight over your front tires from that engine block, meaning that sometimes the grip is not always there, and it will cause some issues every now and then. So it's all about playing. It's also about driver preference, one would say, Stephen. You can't just have, oh no, I like this car because of this and this and this. Well, because of the track conditions. I mean, one would then say the McLaren should be unstoppable on this track. It's good, but take it on a wet surface and it gets completely knackered. It's not that. It's all about driver preference, one would say. So
it does become
mid-engines.
It does become unstoppable. It's because the brakes don't work and you go piling into the competition.
I like how you like to take hits at the McLaren, hey?
Well,
what you do.
The new McLaren. The old McLaren was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it, and I'll stay with that. The old McLaren was fine. Not the 720 things, the MP4-12C. That one is the only McLaren in my head that is the best GT3 of all the McLarens. GT4, I would go the 650 is okay. It's a bit of fun to drive, but the new one is a bit flat. It looks like it got stood on. But out there not being stood on, Daniel de Villiers is up 0.3 of a second, trying to break down. Our time is breaking down to a 1:42, and we're expecting this rain to continue all the way through the race. We do have the mandatory pit stops for the drivers to serve, and they're going to have to battle their way out, but some brilliant lap times coming out despite the difficult circumstances that these drivers are finding themselves right here at Oulton Park.
Yeah, no, Stephen, it's great to see the times come tumbling down there, and it's great to see the Nissan is still up there, taking the fight to the Ferraris. I mean, this Nissan, the Nissan's own in general this season has been impeccable. Both de Villiers and Huiling really able to fight it out at the front. I mean, you don't normally see that from the Nissans. Normally they're like, they're old cars, we'll write them off for now. Nope, these guys said, nah, let's take them out, give them some love and see how that goes. And they are getting rewarded for treating the old beast.
You know what we need? A Ford GT.
Oh yes, but the GT40, come on, the 40 is good. I love it.
It is. No, that's what I'm saying. We need that one. Yeah, get rid of the new stuff. Let's bring the Ford GT. Let's get a whole grid of like the Maserati, the Jaguar, the Lexus, all that going back out. You know, the old school grid. Actually happened that before, not so long ago, where we had the old school cars come out. Guys took all the old stuff, had a bit of fun with them. I do think that was quite a bit of fun. Chris Stoll's out in front though. Jan Krobler puts himself into second and waits in the pits. Viertia Buerta down into third place. Daniel de Villiers into fourth. Jan Kleinans into fifth. Kylian Reina into sixth position. SES is into seventh. Eighth, Michael Schultz. Jan van der Merwe in ninth. Darren Miller in 10th position, trying to play a little bit of catch-up. Loic Randebel in 11th. 12th place, Michael Donaldson, who is really trying to give it everything he's got. Conrad Martin is down into 14th, though, behind our leader of our Pro-Am. That is not ideal circumstances for him. And then we got Hannes Kraling, who is just not able to get a lap in. He keeps getting the rear tossing out and going and dropping a wheel off. Unfortunately, invalidating those laps, lap after lap. Frustration must be kicking in.
And absolutely. I mean, it's always annoying when you are on a good lap and then the rear just decides to step out. It's a bit of annoying, but that's when cool, calm heads always prevail, says the guy who normally gets angry when something like that happens. But it's the best when you just have to calm down. Remember, it's rain. People will make mistakes. As we saw last night in the F4 Championship, no matter where you started, you're still able to get a good enough amount of positions because people will normally go and make mistakes, either wreck themselves or get taken out by other people making mistakes. So just keep it calm. You can start from the back, you can start from the pits. That's where I would be starting from if I'm honest. I do not normally like the rain at Oulton Park, but no, it's all about just being smart and just calm. That's the best decision to do. Don't go losing your marbles due to one bad lap, due to not adding a lap due to an incident that occurred. Just keep it calm, collected, smooth, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a proper run. But as our qualifying comes to it, as we hear Tim busy. Tim giving us a bit of information there saying watch out for the curbs, remember to brake early, rain predicted for this race. Good to see the guys to go and get themselves ready. Tim and Jim on radio comms will be giving us all the insights as we look to get started. So let's go through as we do a short little grid walk of what's happening. This is the Zodiac that we are racing the ZRC GT3 Championship. Crystal's out in first place. Daniel de Villiers in second place. Gideon Reiner in third. Johan Krobler, followed by Viertier Buerta, Johan van der Merwe, Johan Kleinans lying in seventh. Eighth, SES Days, Michael Schultz, Michael Donaldson, Darren Miller, Loic Randabel, Conrad Martin, Onro Stradler down in 15th is Hannes Kraling. David Robertson, who's looking to try and jump to the top. Jackie Albert, Luke Haynes, Tian Theron, Anton Lummers, Lawrence Barnhurst, Liam Swinburne, Hilton Nixon down in 23rd. 24th, Francois Haynes, Matthew Carter, Shane Dunn, Beryl Loeb down a little bit in 27th, and Ian Rootman, who had to serve that quali ban down at the bottom end of the circuit. All our eyes to the front as we keep an eye to the top of the pack. Everyone will be taking a look to the likes of Crystals and Daniel de Villiers, who will be leading out the pack at the start of the race.
So fantastic. I love seeing that Nissan there on the front. It's just so nice. But Crystals, we know that he's been having some bad luck recently. Well, the last time I saw him was around Bathurst. We had some issues with the car and unfortunately having to park it. We'll try to continue from there, but not having the race that he wanted initially. But it's great to see him back there. I do not see the hybrid racing guys. Or am I?
There's Johan Krobler. It's Johan Krobler.
Johan, sorry, Johan. Johan, I'm gonna get found and I'm gonna get attacked.
Bago is gonna throw you under a bus. That is for certain. But you're right, we're missing one, and that is Daniel Rowe, who's unfortunately not around. But we're coming up to the line. We don't worry about them that are not here. We worry about them now, and it is going to be going racing. Green lights in 3, 2, 1. Over to you, Jim, for the green lights.
Green light.
And away we go, but a drive-through penalty for Van der Merwe being out of position as we all barrel down to turn 1. De Villiers stuck on the outside, gets a little bit of a helping hand. Gideon Reiner up into second place. It was a little bit of an argy-bargy moment. Johan van der Merwe up into third. Krobler down in fourth with Viertier Buerta sliding out, trying to keep his nose ahead of Daniel de Villiers as they make their way through. Cars are fighting left, right, and center at the moment. You can just see slow-moving traffic as we got one car that's come to a complete stop. That might be Rootman. That's a little bit further down. There's unfortunately gone and landed up with a bit of a problem. Some great racing as SES Days tries to pull away from Michael Schultz, who went side-by-side with Michael Donaldson. Donaldson's going to try and hold back Kraling as much as possible. as unfortunately Kenny the poles are being taken out left, right and centre, and pit window is now open for drivers to serve. Drive-through penalty though, handed out to Jan van der Merwe. That's going to be severely frustrating, especially off the start of the line.
Yes, drive-through penalty. You never want those, even in a dry race. It absolutely breaks one's heart. So you just now it's a recovery drive. Recovery drive is the best one to go from this, and that's what they need to get into mind. The team needs to change their mind, go from okay, now we have to attack from defense. Now let's go to an attacking mode, see what we can get back. Remember, rain. It's a great neutralizer. That's what I always love about it. It brings out the true skill of drivers instead of just relying on, oh, I'm faster, or setup wise, or just the car brand. It's all about who now has the skill to convey what you normally do in the dry into a wet weather condition. So this is definitely going to be fun. Actually, you see
Pit
some
lane.
cars there on the side.
Yeah, pit lane is getting busy. De Villiers diving in, but this is a replay of what happened a little bit further to the back. This was Ian Rootman, who got a good start trying to make his way through onto the grass. We spoke about the grass being a problem. Comes across, we see one of the PWSR cars, and oh, one of the racing snails in Hilton Nixon. Oh, geez, everyone just landing up in a bit of a car park. So we did have a few cars, unfortunately, getting a tip to tail nose damage, but we have seen quite a few cars pull into the pits. Jan van der Merwe served his drive-through early and is now trying to claw his way back through the race. Lawrence Bartenhurst next to him getting a loss of drive as Liam gets all out of shape. That is going to allow the likes of van der Merwe to try go around the outside. Couldn't get it all sorted out. Gets back onto the power and now needs to try and close down onto the top end of the field. But it does look like gaps are starting to be made right the way through the field. Now I've got to ask you, in a race like this, you were talking about it's not easy to play follow the leader, especially in these conditions. I would beg to differ. This would definitely, as you see the tires going in, landing up, getting pushed out the way, I would definitely lean on the competition at the moment, because if you know that you're a little bit more confident in the wet, going and forcing a bit of a mistake here from the competition to start chipping away, because no one's going to be changing their tires in this race. So what happens if you start causing them to overheat those tires slowly but surely, because they're running the pressures rather high, as we see. That is Shane Dunn getting all out of shape.
Well, as you mentioned there, Stephen, it's about a give and take. I mean, some drivers can go really, really well in terms of managing the tires in wet weather and still defend and keep up a magnificent amount of pace. That's not the issue. It's just trying to make sure that you don't make a mistake. Yeah, tires won't be changed, as you mentioned. It's now just, I do not like being behind a car. I hate having to sit behind a car, have that white wall in front of me, not being able to see anything, which can lead to unnecessary mistakes, unfortunately. Cars going, unfortunately, and missing the brake points, taking out opponents. On,
you will be taking out components.
Yeah, you'll be taking out your engine components. But no, so it's a bit of a difficult one. I prefer always try to get out, but then your opponents ahead of you might play the smart game and just try and create that white wall of spray ahead of you, which will make it significantly difficult for you to see. But this is also where the driver's peripheral vision gets tested, Stephen. If they do decide to stick behind somebody and have that wall, they need to know where their brake markers are. An alternative brake marker from the side of the road, so they know when to start braking. This is definitely going to be a test of which driver has that sense. It's not just, okay, cool, there's mine for 100 meters into distance, let me get ready for this, get the mindset ready. No, this will literally be, okay, here we go. And, oh, there's a brake marker, I need 2 minutes to brake. It comes up to you so fast, you won't even have time to solidly react to it, unfortunately.
Very true, very true. Well, I do feel that this also does come in with like night racing, where you're starting to look for alternative markers, maybe a light or something off to one side. It's all that comes into play. But at the moment, our drivers seem to be in a little bit of a groove, as drivers are getting better and better, quicker and quicker, as we see Donaldson going up on the inside of Virtuo Buerta, gets a clean sneak on by and has no problem there. Unfortunately, Darren Miller landing up with a bit of a problem. He landed into the dirt for a bit. But ST has actually finished up all his pit stops. And we haven't really gotten far into this race. So far 6 minutes and he's done both pit stops. That is a very interesting tactic. Well, everyone's done one stop in 6 minutes. Essie's done all his pit stops, and so has Johan van der Merwe.
That is quite strange. Is this something that in the Merc that we do not know about? I mean, it's strange to see that in the car. I'm quite curious about that.
Now I'm trying
really
to
early.
6 minutes to get 2 pit stops out the way mandatory means that you're relying solely on the rest of the race's fuel consumption to work in your favor. That is what you're trying to hope, is going that extra little mile. Not going to be an easy one. I mean, that's going to be monitoring your fuel consumption like no tomorrow. As Liam Sonburn into the dirt, he did go and chirp in the comments prior to the race. He said he'll park it in the dirt just for us to get a good view of the car. Well, I don't think doing it in the race is the right idea. Maybe a little bit longer into that. Loic Randebelt, he's out on track. I had a bit of a chat to him a little bit earlier. I was talking about his teammate that was racing last night in another league in the F4s, Peter Meyer. And I went and asked, so what's the game plan with the whole team? And they said to come out, have a bit of fun, and show what an esports team can do. So the mindset of just getting an esports team out there. We've got multiple different teams that are social. I would say we've got social teams that are out on track, like what we've got with the Racing Snails that we currently have on screen, Luke and Haynes, going and showing off what he can do. We have the esport teams like the PWSR cars, and then we have the Omnis Gaming. It's also with that. Daniel de Villiers getting sideways, but Lawrence Barnos, who is unfortunately facing the wrong way. Looks like there was a bit of contact between the 31 and the 6. So let's see what happened. Lawrence Barnos trying to make his way around. Did he get a tank slapper? Did he have a de Villiers send it up on the inside? Did Godzilla have a little bit of food? Let's find out. Yep. Wow. Okay. And into the dirt she goes. Round and round. I think our stewards will be keeping a very close eye on that one. David Robertson, though, has gone out into the weeds as well. Our number 26 and 27 also landing up into the dirt, along with Conrad Martin. So Conrad Martin was in the Porsche just ahead with the likes of one of our BMWs going up on the inside. Oh, that was Jackie Alberts giving a little bit of a knock on the inside to Conrad, and that forced likes of David Robertson to dive to the dirt to avoid any damage to his car, which unfortunately impacted his race.
Yes,
So-
now this is where the mistakes are coming in, Stephen. People making a little bit of mistakes, sometimes getting involved in incidents, not even their fault. I think that might be what the guys like Essie and Johan van der Merwe are going to
But they
bet their money on.
they
But
bank-
It's a very risky one. It's a risky one. That's the thing.
They banking on not getting any damage, the fuel consumption being dead right, and that their tires will hold on, and that the track conditions will stay the same throughout the race. That they won't need to adjust pressures, they won't need to go and move any forward. I mean, there's a lot of gambling there. I'm not a gambling man, but those odds are a little bit rough, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't normally like gambling unless it's in GTA role-playing where money doesn't matter to me anymore. But no, this is definitely a battle and a half and a risk that I am not sure will pay off for these guys. I mean, it's really all dependent on if you can keep that car on track, if you can keep it out of damage, and if you can keep it crawling. That's the thing. You don't want to go wreck it and then there's a whole story and a half. Then you've done 2 pit stops unnecessary. But that also depends. Were they involved in incidents at the start of the race? Were there issues that they had to immediately fix? It's a give and take. We know that the car of
We know
Van der
Van der Merwe.
Merwe has had to go 3 times through that pits. 1 for a drive-through, then 2 times for a stop. As you see, De Villiers putting, I think he just did a very good, a very fine, fast lap there. But it depends on, yeah, he just did a fast lap.
Yeah,
Well done.
142.2 in these conditions, and oh,
I'm gonna get hated for that. I apologize.
commentators curse. Commentators curse.
I'm sorry, Mr. De Villiers. Please do not come and find me and take me out.
No,
but
he
if you want to take me
went
out,
to-
I prefer.
he-
No, if he does take me out, I prefer to
Oh,
take him out to KFC.
And Loic Randabel in the
Oh.
background as well, getting a bit of a tank slapper. That's just as you're coming down the hill into the left-hander. So that is essentially turn 3, turn 4, and it's you coming and braking while turning, which is never an easy thing to do on the circuit. Now you've got the tricky conditions as well. I mean, it doesn't matter what car you run in, whether it's a Mazda MX-5, a GT3, GT4. I mean, you can take even the LMP cars going down into the left-hander, turn 3, turn 4, on the brakes. Unfortunately, will get some serious rotation out of the rear. And if you're not awake enough, it will throw you out. So you've got to be so cautious to that. But at the moment, our pros and pro-am seem to be having a good mix in their races at the moment, with not too many problems. Miller also landing up into the dirt a little bit earlier. And no, was it into the dirt? Go back roughly a little bit. He was behind Bardenhurst. Looks to the inside. Late on the brakes. Has a little bit of a snap oversteer. Brings it back. Merck, unfortunately, in the way. Does look on the inside. And that is a synchronized touch. Lawrence is not having a fun race right now. There is a certain Merc that's not having a fun race. Anton Lamazou, he's also going and losing out a few positions as with
Mamma mia. 30-second penalty there for Loic Randabel for a collision that he caused earlier into the race, which might have caused why he's dropped down so far, I believe. But and 15 for De Villiers, another one. That's one of our front row starters who I noticed dropped down after, well, he did a pit stop, but he dropped down after lap 1. Oh my, oh my. The stewards are coming out in force tonight, Stephen.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy one right now. And Darren Miller trying to claw his way back up, I think, is also taking some risky choices and risky takes. Vietia Berta hanging on the back of Michael Schultz as they chase down Michael Donaldson. But let's go through our running order at the moment, because Crystal's out in first place with Kilian Reina in second place. Johan Krobler out in third, needing to all do their mandatory pit stops. Looking at our Pro-Ams, in 8th place and first in our Pro-Ams is Arno Stradler, who's done a great job just keeping up the momentum. Tian Taron, that is down in 11th position, second in our Pro-Ams. Lucan Haynes running in 3rd position in class, but has got David Robertson, who's looking to fight it out for the championship right behind him. So this is going to be a proper run.
No, absolutely, Stephen. It's great to see them fighting out, especially across the whole circuit here. But now this just brings in a question into mind for me, Stephen. I mean, throughout the season, we've seen a lot of the drivers who have qualified, for example, in the Pro-Am class, but they are able to take the fight to those pro guys. I know it's a discussion that has been throughout the entire year, and even through previous years. People say, well, how can someone just immediately improve like that? That's a question. And I think it shows with this, not with this race, but this entire season now. Oh, Loic, another crash there with
Matt
there.
Carter.
Oh, not a good start for him. Oh boy, Loic, you're gonna get another little penalty on top of that 30. Oh boy, that's...
Oh, Chingos, and Miller gets it. Ah, Miller just ran out wide, and it looked like SESA's got it as well.
I think Essie got safe. That was
no,
so Matt that we saw there. There's
no,
Carter. Oh, no,
he also got caught. It was...
Oh, a massacre. A Ferrari pasta tortellini bloodbath. That's 2 Ferraris as
ran out wide. He got hit, and Essie had nowhere to go. Oh, I mean, the problem is Loic was just trying to get on track. He tried putting his nose forward. Suddenly Miller's running a bit wide, and it just didn't end well.
That's where this debate comes in now, Steve. That's the thing. Loic Roundabout causing the initial contact, but he wasn't onto the track. He could. Sorry, that was a bit of a hiccup. He couldn't expect Miller to go and run so wide
That's
and hit
Luke
him.
and Haynes also getting a bit of a spin, and one of our
Aston Martin.
That's David Robertson that had to avoid.
Oh, those two cars are flying past there. But now again, how will the stewards punish that, Stephen? Loic wasn't on track, so he can't be rated as an unsafe vehicle in my book.
His nose was on circuit, but he was stopped.
Was it enough?
That's the
question.
That's where you're looking at where the track limits are. But in all incidents, I would most probably put it down to that is a racing incident. Looking at how it happened, I would put it down to a racing incident that came in. That's how I would look. But yeah. I'm not a steward. Can't take a guess on it. We'll have to just try and figure out what is going on, but I know it's going to be a hot topic for a few drivers. I think at the moment the drivers are busy saying, can we just get this race over and done with, because it's 57 minutes of still pouring down rain as we see SES onto the back of Matthew Carter. Both these Mercs have gone through the walls, and Essie not having an easy time to get past Matthew Carter, who looks up on the inside. They're in two different classes though. So is Carter going to just give a bit of room? No, he is going to definitely put his nose in to try and take a fight to the pro driver, and then choosing not to at this point. Dunn, unfortunately, getting undone as he falls off a circuit and it gets parked into waiting to get going. So a couple of drivers really not having an easy time out there.
No, unfortunately not having a very smooth running race out there tonight there, Stephen, but I think we have our first retiree of the night in Loic Randabel saying no, that's him. He gives up already. Just not the night that he wanted for the end, going forth, and
he's still out. He's still there.
Well done, Loic. Then the producer gave me a bit of a wrong note there from the team radio there, but no, he really did say sorry to Darren for that contact there, but yeah, Loic, do not give up just yet. Keep on fighting. Keep that car on the track. No matter where you finish, at least just finish. That's all that matters, especially on the track as wet as Oulton Park.
I think what might have come through is he's not going to put in as much of a fight being down the field. I think at this point he's just going to try and cycle his way up more naturally. He has completed all his pit stops like Darren Miller, Anton Lummers. So at this point, you want to try and just get the cars up through the field without too much of an issue. This is where you're wanting more of a natural progression than a aggressive progression. So think of it this way. Your race is now focusing on keeping the car out of the dirt, keeping the car going, and just monitoring what your tires are going to do. You've taken the knocks, and the main thing now is you want to get yourself dialed in. You want a natural progression, natural flow as people pull into the pits, as cars drop off. You just want to start taking those passes, not actually out on track. You don't want to go side by side with cars, but more of overtaking while they're in the pits, while they're getting some work done on them, or while they're off to the sides. You don't want to get into those nasty scuffles, especially on a very tight circuit like this. On the other hand, we got Johan Kleinans of Delta Negative onto the hybrid racing Jan Krobler, who is sliding the car around, trying to get this Porsche all in to check, and seems to be a little bit more altogether compared to the Ferrari of the likes of Kleinans. But Michael Donaldson now setting the fastest lap time of the race, getting a 1:41.8 as the quickest lap time. So Donaldson properly getting the hammer down on his last lap, and he is trying to close down 2.6 seconds. You see just in shot in the Ferrari behind these two, as they watch Kleinans and Krobler go nose to tail. These two have been at each other all season long, but can they keep up the pace here at Oulton Park in these conditions? Because it is only going to get worse. The rain will keep pouring down, and the track conditions, as we see puddles forming out on the kitty litter, So that is just useless to try and stop into. I mean, these are not ideal conditions to go door-to-door racing. But looking at our pro drivers out on circuit, you can say that, well, maybe there's something to it if you can keep it all together.
I definitely like seeing cars going door-to-door racing in wet weather racing. That's the best ones, and doing it cleanly and just, especially in the corner, that little banked corner that we're approaching after this kink here. If you can go side by side through that in the dry, it's impressive. Doing that in the wet is even more impressive. But no, these two cars, Kleinhaus and Grobler, have been going hammer and tongs at one another up this entire season, and it's great that even with a little bit of rain, it does not discourage them. They still go and they still take that fight to one another there. But Johan just being able to show Kleinhaus there, listen, I'm still a bit better than you in the weight. It's not just depending on conditions. I know how this Porsche works. I know I can how it takes the curbs. Now you're gonna have to try and get past me.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a monumental run for our drivers at the moment. Kleinhaus trying to get a little bit more movement, and Donaldson slowly now ratcheting into that gap, 1.8 seconds, as they're looking to try and fight it out for the top three in the early parts of this race. 52 minutes to go. 2 mandatory pit stops, except for Daniel de Villiers, that was now 15. It's got 15 seconds added to his time. So he's going to have to do one stop with 15 seconds to it as well. Going to be an interesting one of how the driver's going to move their way through. How's the pit stops going to work out? As Chris, having to go a little bit slow, gets caught up behind one of our back markers, who moves kindly out of the way. Big thank you to... That might be... I'm not quite sure. That might be Loeb. Yes, it is. It's Barry Loeb. Going and minding out the way, not wanting to get into too much of a fight.
Just trying to keep the car clean and complete the race, I think, Steven. Not wanting to get involved in unnecessary fights. And just cruising around the track for now, I think. Yeah, how do you say his surname?
Isn't it Loeb?
It's Lubber.
Lubber.
Lubber. There we go. Lubber. That's still better than the one answer I got from a certain driver, Keegan Sanderson, when we were still racing together, saying Lube, with the names of Heinrich Lube, and we had a good laugh at that. But no, it's Lubber. But, so we don't get a death threat from me and you. Well, you and me getting a death threat saying it's not Lube or Loeb. It's Lubber.
Lubber. Okay. Well, there we go. Right, we're getting some, just figuring it out. I generally tend to drop off with the type of stuff. Oh, this is Barnos that unfortunately went nose first. I mean, spent most of his time into the dirt. Leo Grandabell getting 5 seconds added onto his time. So he's getting a bit of a time penalty thrown at him. But taking a look, change up for our Pro-Ams as Tehran takes first of our Pro-Ams, with Jackie Alberts in second, and Stadler down into third, but has done the one mandatory pit stop. So Stadler opened up enough of a gap to be comfortable. Do see a car stopped off, and that is Hilton Nixon down by our turn 5, and having to just point himself correct. Like around about 35 seconds added to his lap time. I mean, 35 seconds. He's had 30 seconds, so he's had a minute and 5 seconds. Minute and 5 seconds to serve.
Oh boy, that's just gut wrenching there. It's you don't want to see that. But again, I think the stewards had a bit of a different view than we had, Stephen. Unfortunately, having to get punished for the initial contact there, which caused the initial accident, and then also the resulting incidents will also be on part of the driver who initially caused the accident. So I feel bad for him, but he just needs to continue driving. Do not give up, Loic. I know you might not be listening to the stream, but I will be cheering you on quietly from here, just saying keep on going, my Mauritian friend, keep on going. You can still finish the race no matter where, just continue circulating.
Drive through for Hannes Kraling as we see side-by-side action. Sorry to jump in there, but Jan Kleinert into the wall.
That is all she wrote for the NASCAR Delta Negative. Oh my.
That went just as well as Jeff Gordon going and fighting for the championship. Exact same thing. Touch the dirt. Boom. In the wall. And Jan Krobler was just far back enough that it wasn't going to affect him. But you can be sure the front of that Ferrari is not a happy camper with that hit.
There we go.
Tehran off into the dirt, taking out the signboard. So, just eliminating all the Kennys around the circuit. And
this is another question. So we have Kenny the Cone, Kenny the Bollard, Kenny the advertising board, as Johan Grobler loses it going into the
turn 3.
I would say that causes cars such as Michael Danson to sneak past them, and now Michael Schultz is right underneath the rear diffuser of the hybrid racing Porsche there. Oh boy, it seems like first it was Jana Kleinans, and now it is Bago Grobler losing it there.
And Swinburne also landing into the dirt. But you want to know why? Do you know why I call everything that gets wiped out Kenny? Anything that's breakable, I call it Kenny. So
South Park at that, I do not know.
So yes, it is. As you see, Rootman gets a bit of a tank slapper, going and just lining himself side by side. Looks like Rootman's going to stay on the throttle though, so fighting it out for position. And Rootman, unfortunately, taking the other route.
Where's it going to end up? Because that's only one way, and that's into the wall, my friend.
That is going to be eventually back on track, slowing it down. But anything that can be taken off track, as we see Barry Lubber into the dirt, and it looks like one of our Delta Negative. That might have been Fundermover or Klein. Yeah, that was Kleinans that landed into the dirt.
That front end again.
So anything that gets taken out, I call it Kenny. Purely on the fact of the running joke from when South Park originally started for the first 8 seasons, 9 seasons, every episode consisted of Kenny, unfortunately, being taken out in some weird and wonderful way. And they made a point. They made a point to keep wiping out Kenny in the most spectacular fashions possible, until 2 things happened. One, the viewers wanted Kenny to be alive for 1 episode. So they flattened off Kenny full stop. As you see, Swinburne unfortunately flattened off a little.
All the brakes.
And just found yourself
through the gap.
Yeah. Oh, but not the most graceful. Yeah, not the most graceful return. But yes, so Kenny got flattened off completely in the series, and they brought him back 5 episodes, about 3 to 5 episodes later, to just get him back into the world of South Park. And also the creators ran out of ideas. Now, in sim racing, we never run out of ideas of how you can wipe out a cone, or a board, or a bollard, or a tire, or the bumper of someone else that can also be called Kenny, because you tend to land up going a little bit late on the brakes. As we see Hirian Reina, he's fighting it out for second place. He's onto the back of our leader at the moment of Chris Hill. So Chris has actually lost a 3-second gap, and Hirian Reina has been slowly chipping away, breaking his way into the fight. So this is going to be a very interesting time, as we see Jackie Alberts parked off onto the side. And yeah, getting back to the pits. So towing back. We brake for nobody. Well, you definitely brake when something goes wrong. That is for certain. And I think whatever went wrong went horribly wrong.
Okay, no, that's perfectly fine.
No,
that seems like might have been a mechanical failure. No downshift on second gear.
That was a immediate tow back to pits. So Jackie Alberts going around, unfortunately landed up just having the whole car shut down on them. So Liam Sonburn now running a little bit further down, goes and drops off the circuit. Pit stops happening all over the track at the moment. Tavilliers still out on circuit, is the first one leading of everyone that has completed their first stop. Johan van der Merwe, though, down in 13th, is first of everyone that has completed their pit stops. as they fight their way through. Our running pack, though, Theron still needing to do 2 pit stops. He leads out our Pro-Am with Stradler right onto the back of him. And I got a funny feeling we might have just lost Jackie, who retired the vehicle.
Yeah, unfortunately saying parking the car as he is dropping down the order currently, but no, he's unfortunately Jackie losing there, and I think that will be our first retirement for the race. So sad to see, but yeah. Now taking back to our front here, Crystal's losing 3-second gap, as you mentioned. Maybe that might be by avoiding other accidents, might be due to trying to just making his own mistakes. But Gideon Renner, we haven't spoken about him much in this race. He has been able to keep that car pointing in the right direction as De Villiers goes and snatches that fastest lap again from Michael Donaldson. But Gideon Renner goes and just keeps the car on track, keep it all 4 wheels facing the right direction, the engine turning in the drive axle going in the right direction instead of going backwards. So I think, well, as you see, Crystal's maybe just responding there, but Gideon Renner being able, I've seen him before do a masterclass in wet weather racing, and I think he's going to show that again tonight. But it depends on if he's able to claw back that time now to Crystals and take the overall victory. I hope I'm not the commentator's cursing. I am knocking my word.
Yep.
But we will see.
Anton Lammers.
He said earlier this year he is not liking this work around this track. He is definitely not liking it. No,
this is unfortunately into the braking zone, so we're going to go back a little bit. This was Ian Rootman also having a bit of a problem. So Rootman getting a little bit caught out, trying to see where everyone's going to be. And looks like having connection issues. So Rootman not going to be a happy camper as he bounces around the track. I want to just point out, the first time I ever started commentating in the world of sim racing, purely on the fact, was actually when Gideon Reyna, no, it was before it. I was racing with the Ace K Pro Series back in 2020. I was in the Audi R8. I was racing. I believe it or not.
I raced in 2021, and then that's the first time me and you ever spoke, I believe. But yeah, continue.
But Gideon Reyna was actually in the Aston Martin, and I tried following him around some of the tight circuits, and he takes a very particular line. He loves to run right to the fringes of the circuit, and that's something that hasn't changed in all the years that I've been commentating. He runs as close as he can to the absolute limit, and runs more comfortably. If you move him slightly offline, different story. Not a big fan of it, as we see Johan van der Merwe, who is trying to get himself turned around properly and get going.
Sneaking through. Oh boy. The Mercs are struggling tonight, Stephen, eh?
I think everything's struggling, Cameron. Everything's struggling.
Just look at our top 10 there, if we can take a look there. It's a Ferrari leading the race, followed by a Ferrari, then Porsche, then Ferrari, and our only front-running car in our, one of our top 2.
Michael Donaldson falling off was in your top 10.
He's still part of the top 10. He's 10th. But one of our, there's only 2 front engine cars, the Merc and the Nissan. And currently the Nissan is beating the front running cars there. But just braking late, trying to keep it on the outside of Michael Schultz there. And that did not work out for him quite well as he wanted to. But now it's a case of rejoining, as you see a Zodiac, Porsche and Merc going past and then having to stop again.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the front engine cars are taking a hammering tonight, Stephen.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it generally because if you want to go and run like a BMW, let's go back a little bit. Prior update, Loic Randebel unfortunately getting twisted around and able to rejoin the circuit. But let's go back about 1 or 2 updates. BMW in wet weather, absolutely
Monster.
Undefeatable. You couldn't beat it.
It was a ship. It was a ship.
Let's go back even further. Let's go back when the Bentley was still the mainstay car out on track. That, in the rain, was undefeatable. Front engine, you could run over the curbs, it would stay planted, it would keep going. The latest of the updates, the latest of the 3 updates that have come out in the world of assettocorsacompetizione, the adjustments that they've done to the tires, have proven that the front engines tend to go and not do so well. You're actually having to alter the camber a little bit more just to try and get it to plow its way through instead of skating. Now, I know a lot of people work on fastest loose and that works out, but what used to work in terms of having the car lightly skate around the track in terms of front engine, you actually want it to become like a plow. You want it to grab these puddles and push it out the way and use that momentum, use that weight. But it just seems to go and affect having more understeer every step of the way, as we see on the. That's Jackie Alberts. He's back on track after
not having a fun time.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not ending well for Jackie. But
No.
yeah, I would say the last 3 updates have broken front engine cars.
I don't normally would say broken, as we see Daniel is diving into the pits. Now remember, he has a 50-second time penalty to also serve on top of the pit stop that he has to do. But no, Stephen, I don't think it's broken. I think the initial changes that we saw with the cars having that issue is because of the new tire physics model that got implemented, and not just tire physics, how the dampers and everything works and suspension works on this game, unfortunately. And most people are still trying to find some little bit of exploit in terms of dampers or traction control. Some of the pro guys are trying to do that. I don't think our guys might doing that. Might not be. I don't think our guys are doing that. But the front engine cars, they can still be fast. But if you take a look at the real world racing, I do not think I've seen a BMW being able to outperform the Ferrari or the Porsche as of yet.
I
haven't seen that.
I have.
Locally. In the past year or two.
Locally in extreme supercars, we have seen a lot of the front engine.
GT3s though.
We haven't had a M4 GT3. We have had a modified BMW take it to the front against a 488 Ferrari that was down in Cape Town, and in the wet conditions was doing a really sterling job, and purely on the fact of could get the nose into the corners a bit better. The rear was a lot lighter, so you could just jump on the gas and get it to turn. The mid-engine tend to do well in the beginning, but towards the later part of they taper off quite badly. But in the wet conditions, there isn't that taper, that isn't that trying to get things going. It's you constantly got loose conditions right the way through.
Reina, sorry, just doing a bit of Reina doing a bit of a drift around that corner there, a little bit of a sideways there. Sorry, Hidon, we already have someone who's the Tokyo Drift King. I do not see out there tonight, but no. But as you
our McLaren's not there. Our McLaren,
unfortunately,
Edrin's not out on track. But
the British car is not on the British track. But as you say, Stephen, it was a modified BMW. In terms of GT3 spec, the current ones, I do not think I've seen a GT3 go out.
Nissan GTR has beaten a Ferrari, Porsche, and Audi
in recent years.
In recent years, yes. And that would be locally.
I'm talking about IGTC.
I'm talking about locally. It's you've got the Stradale. It used to be the Stradale's car. It was the Nissan GTR that was brought over. It was the Bathurst 1000 winner that was brought out. It does race in extreme supercars, and also turning in undefeatable. It can really get onto the back of the more modern Audi R8 Evos that Michael Stephen had. It also has gotten ahead of a couple of Lamborghinis. It takes different types of drivers like Stuart White to be behind the wheel of a Lamborghini to stay ahead of it. And that is because you got a very quick driver. But even he said that the Nissan is one of those difficult cars to try and stay ahead of because it's just got constant power, it's got constant grip, and it will go and start to get things a little bit sorted out. One thing they tend to do as well is just get the nose pushed in and force you to run out wide. Remember, mid-engine is a lot harder to get on the power mid-corner versus a front engine that's got all the weight already shoved in, so you're just going to get the nose to pull straight as you stand on the gas. So that is where it comes in. So yes, in recent years, I have actually seen it.
Well, then, well, I don't know.
Hilton
Maybe it's
Nixon's
something.
into the pits, so he is getting
Maybe his
himself
final
sorted.
stop, I think. Yeah, maybe his final stop there, but I mean, maybe I might have missed that one, Stephen. But yeah, the BMW, it is something that Kunos loves to absolutely do when they release a new car. We all know that they will absolutely hype the living daylights out of the cars to get people invested in it, taking part in it, just do
Thanks,
the data, the
iRacing.
research.
He did the same.
Well, yeah, that also, but no, just try and get people involved. iRacing, we do know why. They have their subscription model, or the subscription and their purchase model, where you subscribe to use the service from month to month, and then also you have to buy the content to enter racing. But on Kunos, we know that they go for months on end, and they push that car. I mean, the BMW was undefeatable for 3-something months, 6 months almost, I believe. And then all of a sudden, no, we're going to make some changes. Bam, the car gets dropped like a brick into a dam. It just sinks to the bottom. Struggled. Even Niels from BS Plus Competition Racing just says no, the car just feels strange. And we had the same with, well, the Ferrari is still performing well because its real life counterpart is performing absolutely brilliant. But the McLaren goes, and it was absolutely the must-be car if you want to win or be competitive in any sort of league race.
Prior to LFM.
Sending. Yes. Then came LFM and they completely sunk us. Well,
Yeah,
they did try and fix they did fix the McLaren a bit, but now LFM goes, no, we're going to do our custom pop, and goodbye McLaren, welcome back Ferrari.
Yeah, so Conrad Martin onto the back of Michael Donaldson. But yes, we've got to talk about that because we do have the LFM BOP currently on the cars, and that, for anyone that doesn't know what a LFM BOP is, it's a low fuel motorsports. It's like a international league that has set the bar in terms of balance of performance, adding weight to the vehicles. So custom weights in vehicles that brings the racing a lot closer. So you won't have your meta cars going out there, because at one point it was a Ferrari challenge. You want to win, you get in a Ferrari. You want to lose, you get in a BMW. You want to
be mid-pack, you go McLaren.
You want to be
McLaren, the Porsche.
Yeah, you're a Porsche, and then if you want to be completely out of it, you get yourself an Aston, a Nissan, a Bentley. Then you wouldn't even catch him.
Oh, Loic again. They're going with a spin, and into the pits he goes.
Yeah.
I think Loic is going to park this car tonight now. I think he is talking very different, a lot of languages underneath that helmet, and I think the crew chief might have just taken off his headset saying, I do not want to listen to this. Oh boy, no.
Unfortunately so. 31 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen, and we have Hilton Nix is saying it's a retirement. Unfortunately, his wheel is giving issues, so mechanical failure coming into play, and we see Hilton Nixon going and retiring the car, being one of our retirees from this race. I mean, Oulton Park, I love this track to pieces. Absolutely adore it. In a Skippy, I promise you, in a Skip Barber, fantastic.
You don't like it in a TCR, do you?
TCR, I don't mind. I genuinely don't mind.
You did throw away the win for it by doing a jump start, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah, no, I will take that one. But I don't mind in all the cars. Ones that I don't like actually racing on the circuit is a GT3 car. Purely on the fact of just momentum-wise, it's difficult to get with it. It feels like the cars lumber around. I mean, I've even driven a LMP3 on iRacing on the same circuit against GT4s. Both the GT4 felt fine, but a LMP3 also felt great. GT3, for some odd reason, it just feels like you're hanging forever in third and fourth gear, constantly. Those are your gearing, and now you add a bit of wet conditions to it, and you're having to just focus on those two gears mainly throughout the race. Makes it exceptionally hard. So for anyone that can maintain the pace with GT3 on this circuit, I take my hat off to them, because it's one thing I don't think anyone can do successfully without having too many problems, as you see Matthew Carter and Darren Miller having a little bit of RG.
Shots.
Yeah, I think it was all great until it got a little bit argy-bargy, and this is where it gets it right into the hairpin. A little bit of a love tap between the two.
Bit of pushing, rubbing it, racing, and also shoving out the way, saying goodbye, thank you, my place.
In turn, not too bad. I wouldn't go and count that as a complete write-off. Yes, it's a knock. It gives you a bit of a jolt through the wheel. But in turn, both drivers not giving an inch. So
no, both of them really wanting to take or keep the position. So yeah, I would write that off as just normal incident. Personally, but again, stewards will differ from me and you. They have all the tools at their disposal. We only have the cameras.
We got Tim, the cameraman, and I mean Tim is doing a.
That's the thing.
Tim's doing a
Tim
good
is doing
job.
an absolutely job. He is giving us all the camera angles. But we've got Tim, the cameraman, Jim, the flag waver. Now, earlier this race, you mentioned Tim also being on comms. No. I don't think Tim is also our
He is on comms.
race director and steward. No.
He is on comms. He is sending a yellow flag. He's telling us when he gets yellows in front of him. So he's watching the marshals. Tim is watching the marshals at this point.
I don't think that's the one we heard saying the race is wet. Watch out for
That's
track.
Jim.
I don't think. No. That's just Jim is just our light starter. Tim is our flag waver, but who is our race director? Now, I thought I heard the name earlier, but I can't remember the name. Now these three are brothers. So we have Tim, Jim, and now who's the other one?
Well, that's what we've got to find out.
Flynn.
It's Stig.
I think it's Flynn.
Flynn.
Flynn, the race director.
Okay. Right, so now that we got all the important stuff out of the way, let's get back to the racing Oulton circuit. Vietia Buerta onto the back of the likes of Johan Krobler. Bego Krobler doing a great job holding third place. He has been under fire throughout this race, but I do want to take a look back because remember we spoke about SESS and Van der Merwe being a bit ambitious in their strategy. Well, take a look at both SESS and Van der Merwe that at the start of the race, within 6 minutes of the race running, they pitted and got both their pit stops out the way. They are running in 9th and 10th, respectively, and charging their way through. They are currently closing down on Conrad Martin. So it's 18 seconds, but the last lap, they were at 19. So they definitely getting closer, but a really ambitious move may be exactly what's needed, but it all depends where the likes of Michael Donaldson will come out around them.
Behind them, they have successfully jumped them. This strategy might have just worked out for them brilliantly.
Oh, there is Shane Dunn, unfortunately, getting undone by the corner as we see De Villiers up on the inside of Rootman. Trying to make his way through. Dunn just trying to keep it all together and mining out. So Vietia is now making his way around. Kleinans, I think, got the radio message loud and clear of, hang on, we've got a problem here with SESAs and Van der Merwe. So while Kleinans has got 2 pit stops to go, Michael Schultz has got 1 pit stop to go. Essia and Johan van der Merwe pulling each other along.
This is some teamwork. I mean, it's great to see. I think Johan also was a bit missing for a while because last time I spoke with him, he said, "Welcome back, Johan. How does it feel to be back on circuit?" It's great. It's great to see the guys fighting and a very interesting strategy to get them back up there. If they pull this off and get higher up, this is going to be one mega drive. And whoever is the strategy engineer, please send them over to iRacing. I need them.
Oh, Lubber into the dirt, and definitely there's going to be a flubber lubber going off into the dirt there.
Oh yeah, not enjoying like that. I think, and I do have now final confirmation. Low Granabel has parked the car for tonight, saying he definitely hates Oulton with a passion, and he will see us next week if he does not have a penalty or a later discussion with the stewards.
A drive-through penalty going for Lubber, unfortunately due to track limits. So Low Randabelt will be sitting it out and watching Filion Rayner, his fellow teammate, out on track. Darren Miller, though, unfortunately, looks like he's parked off into the dirt and squared off a bit of damage on that car as well. So not ideal circumstances for him as we take a look at this. Is going sideways action, misses out the road, trying to bring it back on. still trying to bring it back on. Goes for the hole and just missed.
Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch.
It's that moment. It's that moment you're like,
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. And not gonna make it.
You're going for like a glove. Unfortunately, just wasn't a glove. As we see the likes, that's Hannes Kraling also getting into the dirt. Ian Rootman was already into the dirt. They got past. So the Aston Martin of Ian Rootman was into the dirt. Hannes Kraling though, making his way by. Snap oversteer. And sends it really far. It looks like one of the other cars goes and also gets himself in. But we do have an accident. We do have yellow flags come into play for the number 4 car of Johan Krobler with Viertier Buerta. So Johan Krobler comes across, trying to go side by side to defend. This is going into the chicane.
Who's going to end ugly? Who's going to be the victor? Who's going to be the loser? And it is going to be...
Nice and gentle, just going and rubbing paint.
Nobody. That's just paint exchange. Just, I think you need a bit more blue on that very chromatic for Porsche that you right? What car does Viet drive?
Viet's a Ferrari. I mean,
Ferrari.
You've just had a whole bunch of Porsche fans get absolutely cross, and you've got a whole bunch of Ferrari fans get absolutely cross at what you're saying. I mean, this is...
Okay, well, let me quickly rectify it. I am not going to say my first name, Cameron de Bastos. Hereby fully apologize for a brief split lapse of concentration returns identifying the car. It's actually backed. It's adrenaline fueled.
Take your Mercedes hat off and your Ferrari shirt off. Stop that.
I do not support those two. Good, get it. Max Verstappen all the way.
Oh, Jingo's we got Heinrich going saying it got my surname right, which is awesome to see. And we've also got a thing coming from Ruan Cilia saying ZLC internally calling Essie and Johan the father-son team as they pull each other along. It's all about the motivation. It's all about the motivation. But out in front, motivated, is Chris Soules leading out the charge with Killian Rayner into second place. Viertier Buerta in third. Johan Krobler currently lying in fourth place. Michael Schultz down into fifth. And just saying that, Chris Soules does pull into the pits. Killian Rayner will be taking over the first place. And he is pulling, looks like Daniel de Villiers behind him. So Viertier Buerta into third. Will be looking to try and take away the position from Chris Soules. Johan Krobler in fourth. Michael Schultz. Johan Kleinans, Conrad Martin, SESAs in 8th, 9th, Johan van der Merwe, followed by Tian Theron, Daniel de Villiers on his shoulder, along with Michael Donaldson, David Robertson, Hannes Kraling running in 15th, Lucan Haynes running in 16th, 17th is Darren Miller, Matthew Carter, Liam Swanburn, Anton Lummers, along with Francos Hines, Perry Lubber, Lawrence Bondenhurst, Ian Rootman, Shane Dunn, Jackie Alberts, and unfortunately Hilton Nixon in the pits. At the top of the charts for our Pro-Am though is Tian Theron, currently into the top 10, with Stradler in second place of our Pro-Am and David Robertson lying in third. Killian Rayner leading out our pros. Chris Soules in second place, now starting to feel the pressure from Viertier Buerta, who was putting a huge amount of pressure onto the likes of Johan Krobler. And now it's just all about opening that gap a little bit more to see how it works out.
Yeah, just a little bit of a push to see how far I can stretch that gap. But we do know that Johan Krobler, the one I called Yaku, I apologize again for that. He has some amazing fight back and some serious pace in terms of trying to claw back results. We do know that he loves to win, get on podiums, and just score points. So he's definitely going to try and get back. I mean, Chris Soules, I believe, is his closest competitor in the championship.
Yes.
Or am I wrong, Stephen?
No, he is. And with Daniel Rowe out of this race, it is maximum amount of points for them to play around with and see who can go and gain a bit of time. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting one. Chris Soules now needs to start opening up the gap and really get going. As you see Viertier Buerta diving into the pits, he's serving the first of his 2 mandatory pit stops. Our top runners though, Conrad Martin still needing to get 2 pit stops done, Viertier Buerta needing to get pit stops done. Johan Krobler needs to get 2 pit stops done, and Kilian Rayner needing to get 2 pit stops done. I mean, this is just turning into a monstrous run. The drivers having to really figure out how they're going to claw their way to victory here. Who's going to be able to stand on the top of the chart? 19 minutes left in this race, and I'm sure everyone just counting down when the checkered flag falls, because this is just a hard back-to-back race, nose to tail, of just trying to keep up the pace. And whoever comes out on top, whoever's able to keep the momentum, is definitely going to be smiling at the end of it, as Lawrence Bondor is getting absolutely mugged into the corner by the likes of the 2 ZRC Mercedes, and he decides to pull into the pits. There was no other way of saying it. He got mugged into there.
Why mugged?
Because when you have 3 cars putting you on the outside and they're looking left, right, and center, that you're getting a shakedown right there. You're arriving on the scene. You've got these 2 monstrous behemoths next to you. You've got a Ferrari ahead of you that's gotten ahead. So now you've got this suave Italian in front of you, and then you've got the mafia boss. You've got the henchmen, the mercs to the left and right of you. They're giving you a shakedown. Well,
you are combining the Italians and the Germans now. You're playing with fire, my friend.
Every villain in the world of 007 never drove an Aston, but they did drive an Alpha, drive a Merc. They drove Mercs, Ferraris, but they never drove an Aston. So
yes, only about I think,
and Jaws.
James Bond was the British ones. Oh
yeah, and Jaws went and drove a Alpha. Believe it or not, he also did his own stunts.
So Jaws, why do I think you're talking about the movie Jaws with the shark?
Well, the shark did do his own. Well,
yeah, he did his own
stunts. He did his own stunts because not Universal Studios had to completely keep going with it. That's why you could forever go to the Jaws ride and see him biting the same piece of copper cable every single day, 4 times a day.
It's not the same shark that was used in the movie, though. I do know that the original one is somewhere locked up and got damaged apparently in the fire. I believe.
Yes,
I can't.
Yes, it did. It did. It got locked up. It was in a warehouse, and there was the original Jaws prop that got damaged was because someone was smoking on the premises and threw the bud out, set the place alight, and that was the end of the first Jaws. The second Jaws was all fine until someone stole the actual fin off the left side of it. Yes, the more you know from the likes of Cameron. Cameron.
No, from Stephen. I'm just here to fill in some blanks. Stephen goes and carries on. And Stephen with a PSA there, the public service announcement. Smoking is not good for one's health, ladies and gentlemen. Also, apparently not for mechanical sharks.
Yeah, mechanical sharks, don't recommend it. IGN, 6 out of 10. Moving on, though. Take a look. Kilian Rayner up into first place. 2 mandatory pit stops. And he is currently 28 seconds ahead of Johan Krobler. Michael Schultz down into the pits. He's getting his final pit stop done. Kleinans is going to keep his foot on the gas. Viertia Buerta has completed all these pit stops. So Jan van der Merwe and SES have not gotten closer to Viertia Buerta. But they will need to keep an eye out for the likes of Conrad Martin. But that being said, what is going through the head of Kilian Rayner and Krobler at this precise moment? You got 15 minutes left to go. We know that a pit stop is going to cost you about 18 seconds per stop. So you're going to have to make that up as Michael Schultz, he just came out the pits. He came out the pits.
Michael Schultz, he started wanted to become a ballerina there. I mean, you are close. You're in the right country where the Broadway, not Broadway, the West End is. Broadway is America. West End is for all the shows. So you can just waltz or tiptoe over towards where West End is, again with Broadway. and he could join off the Thursday. But no, unfortunately, just accidentally pits the tires not up to temp, not having that grippiness that he had on the previous tires, and went onto the British grass, which sent him spinning around like a ballerina.
Now, just taking a look though, I can't see Stolz anywhere as well.
Oh, not again.
So Stolz is unfortunately out. It looks like his car ran into a bit of a malfunction and is out of the race. So that is our championship leader, well, one of our championship runners that is completely taken out of it. He was running in 4th place, had an opportunity to actually get into the top 3 because Daniel de Villiers was having a horrific run. Johan Krobler is a little bit further down, and Daniel Rowe is not in the race. And Chris Stolz, unfortunately, getting disconnected. So he is out of the race. And even if he gets back in, he won't be able to maximize the points. So this is unfortunately the worst case scenario. This is the worst possible scenario you can have in the second last round of the race. But it does play into the favor of Johan Krobler, who doesn't have Daniel Rowe out on the circuit and now doesn't have Chris Stolz. So the only drivers he has to keep an eye out for is the likes of Daniel de Villiers, who's down in 8th position, and Kleinans, who is in 3rd position. So those are the only 2 he has to really worry about. Even then, they won't be scoring enough points to get close to him. So Johan Krobler is in the pound seat right now to walk away with some serious points and quite possibly can go and turn the championship in his favor come the final race next week.
Yeah, it's he might be up ahead now, being able to get a good point scoring there, but once again, he needs to keep it clean. He needs to keep the car on track and facing the right direction. He shouldn't be picking battles with back markers and having accidents, and in order to make sure that he gets the points here. I mean, a points finish is still a points finish, and with his closest championship rival unfortunately suffering that disconnect there, it does take a bit of pressure. It also adds another tiny little bit of pressure, like, okay, I should not mess up now. Hidon Renner, yes, he's 28 seconds up ahead. We both have to do our stops. We should not be focusing on that. Forget that, we focus and we continue from there. But it's now, just looking at our top 5, it's only the top 3 that still need to do the pit stops, with the top 2 still needing to do both of them. I think we're going to see a little bit of splash and dash right at the end, as it's only changing fuels, no mandatory tire changes tonight. But no, Bago, I'm just gonna start calling him Bago, because I know if I see another J, I'm gonna call him Yako again. No, Jan, he just needs to calm down. I say Jan needs to calm down, focus, just keep the car right where it needs to. Forget about Hidon. Let Hidon run ahead. Let him win. He has run a magnificent race here tonight. It's all about maximizing points from the positions that he is now.
Well, that's the thing. Gideon Reyna is actually not in the point standing at all. So Gideon Reyna is going to maximize points now, but that means absolutely zippo to his championship. All that it will do is for Johan Krobler is that it will take away a few championship points. So it takes away that nice little gap between guys for the final round. So he's doing a bit of an early pit stop now, just to try and get a bit of an undercut. Let's see if Gideon Reyna will come back at him. Kleinans goes smack bang into the wall. That is not going to be it. I've got a funny feeling. Came out of the corner, touched the dirt, rotated the car around, and unfortunately, well, we got a set of tires getting bounced off the circuit. Clipped the dirt.
The car got loose a bit there.
Clipped the dirt, and that was all she wrote. Twisted round.
That's minimizing damage on the front end. That is already beat up. But this will throw him back down the order. But no, he's still fourth. Quite a big gap towards Schultz. Unfortunately, lost out towards Vietia Buerta. But Bago already pulling the trigger on Gideon Reyna, saying, I'm going to pit. Yeah, I still have one pit left to do. Puts me on an even playing field with Jan Kleinans, who dives into the pit to serve that final stop. He will lose position towards Michael Schultz as he's just gone by. Where is Johan van der Merwe? That is the question.
Gone past, and so is SES.
SES, and this has played into the hands of Essie and Johan van der Merwe. They have done this beautifully. Now, will this also happen towards Bago Grobler? I don't think so, unless he spins and pushes that car on the gravel or in the grass or in a wall. Speaking of wall, as you see Lowe's Barn also hitting the wall there. I do not think they're
No,
going to
he
be able
didn't.
to go past them, but a phenomenal drive from SC and Janssen.
Yeah, no, Bono's unfortunately parking it wrong. And take a look, Lovers still need to get into the pits. And that is Hines that's unfortunately in the wall. And Claydon's that is up and going. So what happened to Hines? Our number 25 car getting out of shape. Our racing snail trying to go. And that is Claydon's.
No contact. Oh.
Claydon's trying to get by. Blue flags waving. Touch on the grass. One off and the other one off. Unfortunately.
That's an extra gap in the B the teeth.
Yeah, that's the whistle gap. You remember the old gold ad? That's how they did it.
I just remember it as roses are red, violets are blue. When I see you, my heart goes.
Oh my heavens!
Oh my word! I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna go say bye.
Oh my heavens! It's been a long night in the rain with you. But take a look at our leader of our pro-ams. Unfortunately, also having a bit of a problem, and it looks like he came to blows with the number 25 car. So there is Unro coming back onto track and fell off a circuit, chased it behind, going for the blue flags. Light tip on the rear. Oh man, I think it's because I've got a funny feeling. If we go in Heinz's car and we look at that steering, yep, as I said, oh man, Michael Donaldson into the side of him.
Ouch.
He's trying to limp this car around, and then you've got others that are going right at him. I mean, Michael Donaldson just understeered into him, and he was off circuit. There's not much you can do. I mean, you're turning it right, you're trying to keep it all together, and it's just not working out. What a blow. But out in front, Gideon Rayner and Krobler are needing to get in. Krobler gets into the pits, so he's going to go for a bit of a late stop here. Really cutting it close to the speeding line. As you can see, our marshal's keeping a very close eye. I do see that Francos Hines pulls into the pits. Number 25 BMW getting some repair work done, unfortunately in the worst pit box of them all, and that is immediately right after our pit lane. So Krobler into the pits. Viertierbuerter puts himself into second place and will be standing on the gas as he gets ahead of Johan Krobler. And it looks like Krobler will have to try and carve his way through. This is a blue...
ahead of them.
Yeah,
this is blue flag contention as the car...
He's lost it!
No!
He's lost it!
He's opening the door for Schultz, Van der Merwe, and Esther is to close up, but he has already got the car rolling there. But Schultz, right there, chasing down, trying... This is where Bago lost it. That's the question now. The tires were a bit cold because they were standing still for a split... Well, they were standing still for about 2 or 3 seconds.
David Robertson's also off. Robertson trying to get his car back on. He is running third in the Pro-Am. That's going to bring him closer to Lucan Hines by the end of it. So Lucan's trying to give it everything he's got. Michael Donaldson off the track. And Badenhorst again, unfortunately, having to go off circuit. Badenhorst is going to hate this track.
Don't worry, man. You can join the fan club consisting currently of myself, like Randabell, and yeah, it's a 2-person fan club at this moment. We like 3. We need to get a treasurer.
Okay, as we see, Gideon Rayner into the pits. Viertierbuerter trying to come around. He is still needing to get... Oh, it's going to be close. Still going to be very close.
No, well, he still has a pit stop to do. He's still standing. What is going on? That should have been a splash and dash from Gideon Rayner. Viertierbuerter running the final little section. They're going through that little dipper and a little kink as he is going to cross the line now. Gideon Rayner is
only run now.
Viertierbuerter jumping. Gideon Rayner who goes through the first corner here. Oh my word, what went wrong?
5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go. If Viertierbuerter does this, this will be his first podium in Pro.
Don't speak. Knock on wood, everybody turn around, jump up and down, whistle through your front teeth, whatever. Make sure no commentators curse, nobody curses nobody. We might see I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it, Steven. If you say it, I will hunt you down, and I will take all your chocolate Sterry Stumpies. And put them with ice.
That is fighting words right there. Michael Schultz off into the dirt. Jan van der Merwe and SESA's 4th and 5th. So the only one that we've seen as a top runner all season has been Johan Krobler. He's lying in 3rd place at the moment. Vietia Buerta getting a bit out of shape. Did see yellow flags come for him. Anushka Buerta will be watching intently on this one, as she is now cheering on. Gideon Reyna is trying to claw his way through. Our number 30 car is now in a monstrous fight to try and defend. I don't think it's going to work out. Matthew Carter going and giving the position, but he may have slowed it up just enough.
5-second gap, 3 minutes. Oh,
Gideon Reyna
running wide. That
pressure.
is not what he wanted.
The pressure's mounting. The pressure's mounting. He knows it.
His theme song playing in that car currently is Under Pressure.
Not even because Krobler's on him.
Down. Oh my, this entire race has blown open from master strategies to an unthinkable likely result and podium finishes. Anushka Buerta's wife cheering him on there from the commentary. From the
grandstands. But I mean, this is what we got.
Ready with the champagne, I believe, because Vietia Buerta has 8 seconds, 3 minutes to hold it. Hold it together. You have 2 more laps to go, my man. 2 more laps, and you will be a pro class winner.
The first time. This will be
the first time. Keep it going.
Because last season he raced as a pro-am. He raced as a pro-am. So
what a success story this will be.
This is going to be an interesting one because you got 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go. Gideon Reyna's getting drawn in closer by Johan Krobler. So 2nd and 3rd are going to get into a bit of a brawl on each other. Remember that Johan Krobler needs to ensure that he finishes right up in the points to maximize going into the final round. Vietia Buerta, on the other hand, for his championship, he's lying 10th in the championship.
10th, but checked out in this race. He is going.
I think it's all hands on deck at this point, and Gideon Reyna's got, trying to do everything he can. He's got past Matthew Carter. Johan Krobler is trying to get past him. Johan van der Merwe is off the track. SESA's is trying to close up on him. These two pulled a stunt. Michael Schultz, unfortunately, Michael Schultz has fallen off. Daniel de Villiers, if has got the fastest lap time in the race, plus he did it with penalties. He's lying in 7th position. We have got the first of our pro-ams in the top 10 of Stradler, who's doing a fantastic job out there. Tehran in 2nd place is going to be maximizing points. David Robertson is fighting out with Lucan Haynes, trying to chase him down. I mean, we're in for the final moments of this race. 1 minute and 20 seconds. We are going to see a proper top-to-turn finish in the second last race that is going to put the championship for both Pro and Pro-Am into contention. We'll go into the final round with not knowing who has won the championship. The only time we will see who's won the championship is who crosses the line. Jim over the radio says pit window is now closed. 54 seconds remaining of the race, and it is all hands on deck. We have got 24 cars still circulating on one of the toughest tracks with these conditions, and Gideon Reyna is long since gone past, as it does look like Johan Krobler caught behind likes of Carter, Rootman and Lubber, and he just can't get past, so he's going to relax off the throttle. He's not going to push as hard. Going to get comfy with this 3rd place, but all has changed.
All has changed, Stephen. I mean, yes, you are not where you want to be, as it goes a bit wide, being a bit pushed back there by a cart there, but he's still going to get a bit of a boost over his nearest contenders, or competitors actually there. So he just needs to continue now. Only 5 more seconds. Vietia Buerta, you can slow it down. Vietia Buerta crossing the line. He's on the race winner. No, he has finished. That is the final lap he has completed. Timed it beautifully. You are a race winner, my friend.
Yeah, taking his first ever pro win after upgrading from Pro-Am. Kitty on Rayner giving a flash saying well done. Jan Krobler comes across the line in 3rd place. Jan van der Merwe finishing up in 4th. SES Ace in 5th, along with Michael Schultz. Across the line in 6th position. Daniel de Villiers taking the fastest lap of the race, finishing up in 7th position with a 1:41.96 in the big Nissan GTR. 8th place going to the likes of Johan Kleinans, who is bringing home for the Delta Negative after Crystals unfortunately disconnecting earlier in the race. Arno Schadler taking the class win for the Pro-Ams as he makes his way around the track, getting past one of our back markers, and that is Shane Dunn, who has done a consistent job to get himself to the line. But well done to Onro for crossing line in 1st place for the Pro-Ams. 10th place is Hannes Kraling in the Nissan GTR. Tian Turan taking 2nd place in the Pro-Am class ahead of Conrad Martin, currently finishing up in 11th for the Pros. 12th place, Michael Donaldson. 3rd place of our Pro-Ams goes to David Robertson in the Aston Martin. Lots to be said, lots to be done. What a race and what a run.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Stephen. Well done to everybody out there. Well done, Vieta, on your inaugural Pro Division race win. I'm very proud of you. You've done a great drive there, and I'm glad. Anushka, you better give the guy brandy or something there, as you said, as Henrik said, there in the grandstands there, or even that nice little cappuccino. I think I can go for a cappuccino now, Stephen. But no, well done to everybody out there on a wet and slidey Oulton, who has claimed many victims, but you have all prevailed.
Now, I mean, let's take a look at some of the highlights. Well, we look to get a couple of the drivers to come in and have a chat with us and give us their feedback on the race. I know there's going to be lots of smiles, lots of enthusiastic moments, and also going to be some major cheering. Is just looking in the waiting room. Oh my heavens, we have got the entire world coming through. But let's go through them bit by bit, and let's start off with our Pro-Am, starting with Onro Schadler. Onro, welcome to the world of the commentary booth. I gotta say, I love the NX Legend as your profile picture, but going and getting the win for the Pro-Ams, getting yourself to the top, and managing to keep it consistent in some of the toughest conditions out to date in the championship. How are you feeling?
Good day. Thank you. Yes, it was a very hard race. Consistency and to keep the mind on the road. It was a challenge, but I've managed. I had a few, how can I say, bad stuff coming my way, but luckily I managed to keep everything together and to grab the win and just be smooth.
Well, how was it out there? I mean, with Aston Martin, we were seeing you constantly. You had no opportunity where there was just open gaps for you. You were landing up into some of the trickiest conditions. What was the idea of trying to keep it? How was it out there on these conditions?
Look, it was really tricky, especially with the curbs and if you catch a little bit small of grass, it's tickets. But otherwise than that, yeah, I've been falling inside some back markers and in between some lacquer situations. But it's good. It's just gonna build my racecraft and yeah, I'm looking forward for the next season to actually start on the points. It will be lacquer.
Well, putting in a 1:43.8 as your quickest lap time, and your lap times were constantly within the 1:43s. You're actually one of our most consistent drivers that were out there out on track. So well done on a great run. Cameron, anything you would like to say to our Pro-Am winner before we let him go and enjoy the celebrations with the rest of the grandstands?
Well, nothing much. Just well done on keeping it on the track. You absolutely showed some phenomenal pace, taking it to our pro guys there, and I think you're the only British branded car to be in the top 10, I believe, tonight, if I have it correct. Stephen might be able to correct me. But
Yes.
again, well done. Yeah, well done. Great race, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the final round next week to see how you perform on that one. I'm really eager to see how you do that. So well done, and go celebrate with the team and just have a good Sterry Stumpy. I think Stephen will send you one.
Thank you very, very much. No, it was very lucky, and thank you for you guys for the commentating and as well for EG being on board um, and all the other sponsors. Thank you very much. It's a great community. This.
Absolutely an honor to have you, and we look forward to chatting to you next week as we head to Spa. It's going to be fun. Not as
Oh,
wait.
Spa, my favorite. Yeah.
All right, well, we got honor out. Let's go and have a chat next in the bunch. Let's have a chat to the likes of David to come into the box. David Robertson, welcome to the commentary box. Running third place after a very, very difficult race. I mean, it was toss and turn for you out there. You were landing out into the weeds. You pulling yourself from the brink. You had to take some evasive maneuvers. You're trying to maximize those points for the championship, but it seems like everything was being thrown at you tonight.
Yeah, just it was that classic. I can't see anything. It was just it was ridiculous trying to follow. And yeah, I had some yellow racing snails in front of me that pirouetted quite nicely, and luckily we were able to avoid them. But like you say, I just felt like I had everything thrown at me from the left, from the right. It was a case of just survive tonight.
Well, you've now successfully got enough points that would jump Harry Funsell, so that would put you at the top of the charts going into Spa. Do you feel the pressure starting to mount as Jackie Alberts was trying to close down on you? You got Tian Teran that finished ahead of you in this race. The final race next week, you're currently holding, you got one hand on that first place trophy. Is the pressure mounting?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, coming into this, Jackie and I think we're equal on points.
Jackie's on
And
173, you on 181. So you did have a
yeah,
fraction of it.
eight, and then Tian's very close behind as well, and he's closed that gap. So it's tight going into the last round.
Well, anything you would like to say to the crowd before we let you go and enjoy the celebrations and let the nerves settle down after a very, very wet Oulton Park?
Yeah, I hope it looked as exciting from that your guys' point of view as it was from mine. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and thanks for a great series.
Absolutely incredible stuff. We'll look forward to seeing you, and hopefully next time we chat, we'll be talking about you holding the crown.
That'll be great. Thanks, Steven.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
Well, absolutely incredible. So let's bring in our final of our proms. Let's bring in Tian. Tian, welcome to the commentary box. Glad to have you here, and a bit of excitement coming into the race. Second place of the Pro-Ams. Done a fantastic job out there. Tricky conditions. This has just bolstered your points, and suddenly now you're within the championship fight. How are you feeling?
No, feeling good. It's yeah, it was a rough one. I was thinking, yes, what am I gonna say? But because it was a little bit of a blur, and then I just stuck behind one of the pros, and it went well from there. So yeah, just tried to get those times up.
Take us through the start of the race where you've got just a pack of racing. You know the track conditions are tricky. You know everyone's going to be fighting, and you were landing up mid-grid with everyone looking to try and score those valuable points, and unfortunately trying to score it within the first three corners of the race.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. I think that's what saved me from and getting my second place and all of that is just the consistency. I was lucky a few guys in front of me span out and stuff like that. So at the beginning, the idea was just stay alive. Don't dive into everything that you can. Just get around lap 1 and 2, and then from there, everything settles down, and you can sort of find the groove and just sit, and just continue with that pace. So yeah.
Well, you've got your hand firmly grabbing the trophy. You're part of the championship fight now. Next week is it at Spa. Win or lose, you're going to be putting all the effort in. Are you feeling the pressure?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun, and it was an interesting journey. Just joined a random server. People said join this Discord server, and then the next moment I'm here. And yeah, I must say thanks to Anton and to Essie. They've been helping me a lot. Sitting behind me when I'm doing laps and say, listen, do this, do that. So yeah, thanks to them.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Tian, go and enjoy the celebrations with the team, and well done on
Awesome.
some fantastic racing.
Thanks.
All right, that being said, Cameron, now we're heading into the pros where you've actually gone racing with them. So you're going to ask the questions because we're going to bring the likes of Johan Bego Grobler, who came third place in the race. And I'm going to let you lead this one, as you two have got a bit of a history.
Not always the best history, but yeah, we have history. Welcome in, Johan Berger-Grobler, not to be confused with Jaco, who I've done multiple times during this race. Well done, and congratulations on that third position. I know it's not normally where you want to be, but well done on that race. Can you walk us through how were the conditions from where you were running out there tonight? It seems like they were quite tricky.
Yeah, no, I'll take it, eh? Not, as you say, probably not what I would have hoped for going into the race, but I'll definitely take it. It was incredibly difficult, especially following closely was close to impossible. The spray was really, really bad. I think the guys that ran bonnet cam probably wouldn't complain as much, but for the oaks that ran cockpit in car, it was really rough. So made a couple of mistakes as well, so quite happy to still finish top 3.
Yeah, well, as you said, it was going to the spray. I mean, I've been in that position of being behind somebody, and unfortunately, you're trying to scribble around, trying to get that clear view of where your brake mark is for the corner, and then unfortunately just overshooting it. Luckily tonight, you haven't done that, to my knowledge, from what I remember from the stream. But you were still able to get into the fight, hanging in there with the likes of Chris Stolz, who unfortunately suffered a disconnect, which is good news for you in terms of your championship standings, but then also for fighting it out with Jan Kleinans there. You both made your own mistakes, but you came out victor on that. Just walk us through that little battle that you had with him there. I mean, it seems at one point he had a bit of advantage than you, and then all of a sudden he got onto the grass. And how was that moment? How take us inside the car for that one.
Sure, I have to be honest, if I was close enough to see it, I probably didn't see it because of the spray, so I can't off the top of my head recall where he went off. But yeah, coming into the race, I kind of had in mind that Daniel de Villiers and Kleinhans are the two oaks that I need to beat, so I wasn't too concerned when Chris and Gideon were out in front. I sort of kept the gap where I could see properly and try and just not make mistakes. But unfortunately, still lost the car twice on the brakes. So yeah, probably cost me. Ugh, I mean, let's not get into ifs and buts and maybes, but it was tough. It was tough, and I'm happy to still have third.
Yeah, well, as you said, let's not get into the ifs and what's. And there's a very nice Max Verstappen quote, which I will not be quoting on air, as it is not very, very. You know which one I'm talking about,
Oh,
but
no,
yeah,
exactly.
I think we all know which one. If you watch F1, you'll know what it was, specifically after the Miami race. But no, well done again from my side for tonight's race. Third is nothing to pull one's nose up and frown upon. It's still a very good result, and it just strengthens your hold on that championship on the championship trophy. I believe there, Stephen. Nothing has been finalized as of yet, but anything from your side, Stephen, regarding that?
Well, I just want to go and say well done once again. But now with the tensions, one race to go, you're a lot closer to Daniel Rowe in points. He was out of this race. You scored points. Are we going to see a hybrid racing all-out brawl? Because we can only have one crown, and there can't be two kings.
I think Daniel's done enough, to be honest. I don't, if he does race, which I believe he's going to, then he would need to. Well, I don't even know if it's actually still mathematically possible for me to win the championship, but
It's gonna be close.
yeah, but be that as it may, I don't. Me and Daniel always have a go at each other within sort of friend limits, should I say? So I don't think anything's going to change for Spa. I think I'm obviously in a much better position now with second place, and Daniel is just about wrapped up first place. So there's no reason really for us not to go wheel to wheel. And Spa's a track we both enjoy and historically have done well at. So I think yeah, we could be in for a good show.
It's
Yeah, you and Spa, I remember a very good battle between myself and Aston Martin that you were piloting Upper Rouge. Yeah, Stephen, as you were saying.
absolutely great. Well, big thank you, Jan. Anything you would like to say to the crowd before we let you go to go and celebrate with the team after a well-fought race?
Not just the usual, Thanks for watching and thanks for keeping this sort of niche market that is sim racing alive. And see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week. Jan Bego-Robler of Hybrid Racing. All right, moving into our next one. Let's bring in the OG. Let's bring in Gideon Reyna that fought it out. And Gideon Reyna, welcome to the commentary box. Glad to have you here, but I'm going to hand the mic over to Cameron, who's got a couple of questions lined up just for you.
Well, not multiple questions, really. Gideon, I know I've seen you racing the F1 side, so I know you from that side through low extremes and all of that stuff there. But tonight, you were in another level. You were driving absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, some hiccups here and there, which cost you the overall win, I believe, there. But tonight, it just seems like you and that car were one, and the weather did not phase that car at all. Explain how the race went from your perspective. How did everything go for you?
Well, thank you first. Yeah, my race actually went pretty well. Starting the race, I got a pit elbows out, so sorry to Daniel for that turn one. I think all was fair. But yeah, then it was just following the car ahead, trying my best to not slip up, because when you get it within that 1.5, 1.2 second gap, the spray is so bad, it's so easy to just slip up your braking marker or run a bit wide or something like that. So just trying to focus. Eyes were starting to water, didn't blink a lot. And yeah, just trying to follow when he hits some back markers, try to get close. But yeah, I feel very sorry for him. I think he might have disconnected. I think that's what I've heard.
Yeah, Chris unfortunately did suffer a disconnect, and that was him out of the race. But it did play into your favor.
Yeah, everything went well my side. I feel like everything didn't make any mistakes, didn't go off track. Everything was running good until the first pit stop. I left quite late because I was just like, I'm just going to keep going. I know if something is going to happen, it's going to be in the pit, so I don't want to pit early. First pit stop, I didn't realize I think I was the first pit box, so I overshot it. So I lost a lot of time. They had to pull me back. And then as soon as I did my second pit stop, I forgot the tire change on, and I changed tires with 5 minutes left.
But that's why we were debating what was happened because we saw you stopped for a long time. We're like, but what's going on? Makes sense.
Yeah, no, that pit stop cost me the overall. But yeah, well done to Viete. He did super to also get into that place to get me with that mistake. But yeah, further on, the race was pretty much perfect up until that last pit stop. Everything was going good. Just that I think I like 35 minutes left. I already had 3 warnings with the spray of the car head sitting so close, running wide and stuff. But I at least survived the drive through. But then yeah, the pit stop screwed me over at the end.
So there's going to be a bit of a talking in the pits of, guys, whatever the tires are, leave them in the back. Don't bother bringing them to the front. I don't want them. Next time we visit.
I'm just glad you didn't decide to go dry tires as a mistake that I had made. And that was quite embarrassing. But no, you actually answered my second question that I wanted to ask there in terms of your of what happened in that second stop there, which ultimately did cost you your victory in this round here. But the favorite thing I always like to say is chin up, keep moving forward, and you never know what might happen from there. Well done from my side for that second place. You did a great job. Drove hard against the village. I don't think there's any bad blood between you two. I mean, you've shared the track multiple times, but well done, great race, and I think you can go celebrate the team. Stephen, I'm throwing this over to you if you have any questions.
I think everything's been solved, but Gideon, anything you'd like to say to the crowd, or to the teams, or even to everyone watching in the future? Over to the floor to you if you would like to have a few words.
Yeah, I'd say thank you. It was my first race here in Zodiac. Really enjoyed it. Super nice racing, very fun. And yeah, looking forward to see everyone again next week, hopefully. And yeah, just thanks for everyone.
Absolutely awesome. Gideon Rayner of OG KSR. And well done for a debut out and getting that second place so close to first. And Spa being the next round is going to be an interesting one. Thank you, Gideon.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and drum roll, please. Gonna be bringing him in. Drum roll goes to.
Never mind.
There you go. Drum roll goes to Viertier Buerta, taking his first win in the pros. He managed to fight it out till the end. Viertier, it was so close in the Pro-Am Championship last season. This season, you moved out to Pro. And this time, in some of the hardest conditions that could be thrown out at any of our drivers, you managed to persevere and score the top spot. How did you feel in the last 5 minutes, realizing when you suddenly get that voice over your comm saying, you're in first?
Well, Steve, well, thanks for the stream. Yes, bro. To be honest with you, I only saw the second last lap. Listen, I'm on the lead because I was so focused with the mist and the water in your eyes the whole time. I said to Essie and the guys, because I was in the chat with them, guys, I'm first. What happened with Renner? What's his name? Renner.
Yes, Gideon Rayner.
Yeah, what happened with him? And they said, well, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, I'm first. I was banking on possibly a second, but not a first.
Well, a first place moves you up in your championship points. I mean, you're 10th in the championship. This does elevate things, but I'm sure it's a monster of a confidence boost seeing that you can take the fight to the sharp end of the field. We did hear from Gideon Rayner that the pit stop came down to he didn't take the tires off, so they did put a new set of tires on, and it was a chase down. Now, second to that question, are you getting a cup of coffee from Anushka?
Yeah. Oh, the wife is making me a cup of coffee tonight.
There we go.
Or coffee. That's the question. That's the one we want. We don't want to.
But listen, yes, Steve. I just need to tell you, né? Obviously, the season was when they put me up in pros. I decided, well, I need to work extra hard, and I want to make it known and just thank the guys, Henry Meyer and Fleming Bauer. These guys put a lot of effort and time into me. They've taken me under the wing and trained me, made setups for me, and basically every night the week they online with me, training, coaching me on the tracks and that. And I mean, you're starting to see the differences.
There is definitely some great development. Well done, Viertier. Well, since it's your first time in the pros, standing on top, on the top spot, the microphone is yours, the floor is yours. While you hold the trophy, you can go and say what you would like to say to the crowd, to everyone watching. And now, with Spa in the headlights, the floor is yours.
The track I hate the most. Well, guys, thanks for you guys streaming. Thanks for my team ZRC and also the ZRC admin guys that's giving us this opportunity to race. Obviously, thanks again to Henry and Fleming. And to the missus supporting me. She's sitting here watching the stream every night. every now and then she'll jump up and just. But sometimes it's actually more a distraction than anything else, and she'll come tell me, "Listen here, check, that," and I can't hear because I've got my earphones on. And then she shows me on the screen here, this and that, So it's support all around, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm sorry for Renner for his mishap, but like the guys told me up there in the room, you need to be there to claim it. So I was fortunate to be there.
Well, you definitely stuck in the work. Well done. And we can't wait to see how it all turns out in the future. Vietia, good luck with the final race next week, right here at ZRC for the GT3
Thank you,
Championship.
guys. Thanks for the stream, Stephen.
Thank you very much.
Cameron.
Thank you very much.
Copies, guys.
Well, that does bring it to a close as we have really gone past the mark. We have chatted to our top 3 in both Pro and Pro-Am. But a phenomenal race. Cameron, any closing thoughts from you as we take a look back at Oulton Park? We bid it farewell, the British track in the wet, and we take our eyes forward to the final round next week at Spa for the closing of the ZRC GT3 Championship Season 2.
Well, Stephen, closing words. Oulton, love it or hate it, it's a track that delivers a lot of action, and throw in the rain, it makes it even more dramatic for us as commentators and spectators. Well done to all the drivers. Great racing out there. Even if you didn't finish, well done. You still decided to show up and try and see it as far as you can. Very proud of everybody out there tonight. And yeah, Spa. Jack, always had my favorite. Hopefully to see the one or two Maccas out there again. But a track that's going to give a lot of action also, I believe. The long straights where you want to get the highest top speed, a lot of downforce, and also make the car stick within that second sector, being windy and twisty. I mean, first sector and third sector are just long straights. So it's going to be another action-packed series as we go into our final round of the ZRC Championship, I believe, Season 2. I believe, yeah. Season 2. Season 2. It's closer than ever before, even closer than it was in Season 1. And ladies and gentlemen, you do not want to miss the final round. It's definitely going to be even more exciting than Hamilton versus Verstappen, Abu Dhabi 2021. And it's definitely going to be hard in throat moment. So be sure to tune in next Wednesday as myself and Steve will be in the commentary box leading out and giving you the inside scoop on the cars and some insights on how the cars are going to perform and all the action on the track. And I look forward to seeing you all there.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I can't say it any better than that. Big shout out to Cameron DeBastos. Shout out to all our sponsors, e.g. Evolve Simulator Rigs, Rapid Networks, and along with ACC GT Server Manager for jumping on board and being a part of the series, the Zodiac GT3 Championship. Also tying in with the MSA Sim Racing Work Group as we bring formalized sim racing to the world of South Africa. Hopefully in the future we'll be crowning a national champion, and this year we'll be going for our club champions for 2024. We will have a ZRC club champion, so keep an eye on that. They've got to do well from the start of the year right to the end for 2024. But a big shout out to our sponsors, big shout out to you guys, our supporters, our fans, our teams, drivers, and our entire family here at ZLC. We look forward to seeing you next week as we move on to round 8 at Spa. From myself, Cameron DeBastos, and Stephen Kernick from the THT Productions booth, we'd like to say thank you very much. And like always, a good morning, good afternoon, a good evening, and a good night, everybody.